Hey everybody, Mayday 91283 here. Had a couple people ask about the retaining walls on Hoback Range Sports Club, so here with a little bit of a tutorial for you today on how we did that, getting the retaining walls to kind of flow with the terrain instead of having to have a flat terrain to match a level retaining wall. So a couple people that asked about it, so I figured I'd effort to make a YouTube video. This would be my first with audio, so bear with me if I ramble a little bit, but kind of show you how I went about creating a look at Hoback Range Sports Club. So just going to open it up. Actually, you can kind of see a prototype that I had worked on the 12th hole of Hoback, which is kind of what I used to kind of get the basis of what I was going to do on the actual contest course once we got underway. But and you can see, the retaining walls, they're a little different because you can see, you can get a good look. They rise and they fall with the terrain. And it's just a bit of a different look. So how do we go about doing that? And this is kind of an advanced, kind of maybe a 201, a 202 kind of level class. I'm going to kind of assume, a little more experienced designers are looking at this, so you've already probably familiar with the standard three-layer technique of retaining wall, trying to get a kind of a clean look where the back of the back of the surface, be it the green or whatever terrain, kind of meshes with the back of the retaining wall. While when you look at it water level, there's no jagginess, and you can see retaining wall and none of the terrain. That's hard to do, and a lot of guys use the three-layer technique because just the way Unity struggles rendering vertical drops without tearing and crinkling, and really hard to get a clean vertical edge. So a lot of guys use this three-layer to kind of hide this basic slope and make it look like a straight vertical drop. So, and that's good, but I mean, really the main drawback is you've got a lot of, pretty much limited because HP doesn't let us really do much as far as, rotating walls or whatnot. You're pretty much limited to kind of a flat plane. So, kind of figured how to go about it, to get something that kind of flows with the terrain. And basically what I came up with is because they don't let us tilt the retaining walls on the X and the Z axes. Is that even a word? Anyway. But they do let us do bridges. So, basically, I mean, all the retaining wall is you've got a horizontal surface that kind of meshes with the terrain, your terrain and the rough and the green and whatnot. And then you've got the vertical edge that meshes with the water, and that's what we're trying to recreate here. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking bridges, and you can see I'm using the flat wooden bridge with no railing. I'll pull up the object that I'm using here. Go to bridges and standalone, and it's this second row, third column, this flat bridge that I'm pretty much using to get the horizontal surface down. And occasionally I will use the curved bridge to kind of if you're at the crest of a hill, you're going up and down, that curved piece kind of comes in handy. But so basically you can see I've kind of already started a piece here to kind of show you what I've got going on. And basically what it is, you will take the bridge, and that's what you'll tilt to kind of get even with the terrain, and then you'll come back in with retaining wall pieces to get the vertical facade. So basically what we're doing here, and you can see by what I've already laid out, I'm not joining these, I'm not snapping them to each other, but I would say about halfway through each piece, I'm starting a new piece, especially to get these rounded corners. And, the key to get this lined up for me is if we bring this up, you see how you've got the horizontal surface, but underneath you got these three cross members. They're kind of the bridge supports. And for my alignment's sake, I'm trying to get that middle cross member in line with where my light rough ends here, because I've kind of got in my mind that's where I'm going to kind of bring this wall in. So it's just kind of a good measuring line while I do this. And so basically what I'm going to do is I get the retaining wall in position where I want it, rotating it, with the arrow buttons. And when I'm happy with that, then I start going with the advanced edit, raising and lowering with the L1, or L1 and R1 buttons. And then using the advanced edit and rotating on the Z-axis to kind of mimic the terrain of the slope here. And it's just a matter of, lining up the pieces with each other. It's a little putsy, a little time consuming, but lining up the pieces with each other and lining them up with the slope so the retaining wall is just barely, at the surface level. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and click there, click that in. The thing you got to be careful of is once you get in a rhythm here, before you go to rotate a new piece, make sure you've got advanced edit off, because otherwise you're going to start editing the x-axis and you're going to throw off the level of the surface. And let's say I accidentally do that. I wanted to rotate it. Oh shoot! Instead of rotating the x-axis there, then I just back out and put in a new layer. But so yeah, that's basically how I go about getting this vertical surface. I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of pieces for you. Just kind of, oops, there again I tweaked the x-axis accidentally, but just kind of show you how I get this look. And it's a little trial and error, but once you get the feel of it, it's really not that bad. It's definitely time consuming, and really time consuming when I do it on a PS4. I'll have to admit I've had a long day at work, so I'm a little tired as I try to knock this out. Not quite as focused as I was earlier in the day when I was practicing this, but that looks pretty good. And I'm okay with these little jagged edges here, these little sharp corners, because we're going to fix that when we go and put in our vertical facade. So I'm okay with that for the moment. I mean, you don't have to get these looking perfectly aligned with one another. Ooh. Rod Simo just put out, just ported over Royal Ballylow. That is one of my favorite links courses in this game. One of my all-time favorite links courses in this game. I am super excited to see that. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to get up to this. This is going to be a sharper rise, and I'll show you where I use the curved bridge to kind of help get over the crest of this hill and back down the other side. I'll just show that to you quickly before I move on to putting the vertical surface in. And it's a little trial and error as far as getting it perfectly aligned. And I certainly haven't gotten this technique 100% refined. There may be a better way to do this, but this was the way that I kind of found worked for me while I was building the course. Alright, that looks just about right. Place that there. And the reason why I go about halfway through is because you see how long this piece is. I mean, if I were to try to carry that the whole way through, I mean, especially a sharp corner like this, I'd never be able to make that sort of a sharp corner. Just snapping pieces one after another. So that's why I kind of go halfway and kind of started merging them in. All right. The thing I like about this curved piece, because you can still rotate the x-axis, but it gives just a little smoother look when you're trying to round that crest. And I need to turn that a little bit. That is, it's looking pretty good right there. Just get another piece to sort of level this off. Like so. And I may need one more to complete this. There, I like that. Now that I'm coming back down the back end of this, I can flip back to the flat bridge piece and then just kind of blend that in. And the whole thing needs to come down a little bit. There. So you kind of see how, I mean, actually I don't like the way that one looks. I will need to blend that in a little different spot. Yeah, let's go closer to where this hits right there. Then drop her. Oop. Thing is, you want to get from this profile angle to kind of look how it meshes with the terrain, but when you do that, your first instinct's to move the left and the right buttons to get the bridge to go up and down, and you're actually rotating the x-axis instead of the z-axis. So, I mean, that was the most challenging thing I found while doing this. It's just making sure you kept your buttons straight while you were playing with the axes. Yeah, that looks much better. Rotate that just so it's back in line. Okay. So I've gotten that done, and you can see it, just kind of follows the train, and it's meshed in with the green surface. That I could raise up a little bit to help me out here. I'll do that quick. I know this isn't going to win any Emmys or anything like that, but so it's just kind of basically showing you how I went about creating this look. Yeah, good enough. So anyway, now for the vertical surface, what you're going to do is you're going to take your retaining wall as you would, but I am going to use the skinniest piece I can get my hands on. This little like half sector piece. Because what I'm going to do, I mean, not only am I snapping it to the retaining wall piece next to it, but I've also got to adjust it up and down to kind of keep level with the terrain here, or level with the plane of my bridge. And just slight adjustments on the L1, L2 buttons. And now you see, this is what I'm talking about with these edges. I'm going to back that one up. So when I'm sighting this in, I'm going to try to get the edge of the retaining wall to just barely, the outside edge, to just barely clip the outside of that corner there. And that helps cover it up while still staying flush to the other piece, or at least as close to it as I can. That will That one's not my best, but this is more to show you the idea than anything else. And I just need and you got to be really touchy because the thing about using these skinny pieces is it allows you to be really minute on the adjustments. It gives you more control and a smoother look, especially from afar. But yeah, just barely tapping it. Actually, I need to come in a little sharper here. Otherwise, I'm going to be hard pressed to make that corner. But yeah, you're starting to kind of see the idea here. And just a matter of keeping it flushed with the level of your horizontal surface. Yeah, that might need to come down just barely. Ideally, I want to keep the retaining wall on top of the horizontal surface. Sometimes that's not the most possible, especially if you've got a really gradual drop like I have here. But like I said, just take some practice and refinement to get the hang of this look. I'll just put in a couple more here just to finish the point. And it's just the same thing in reverse if you're going uphill. Yeah, it's basically how I did this. And then as far as flattening this edge and getting this to look flush, I mean it's basically the same deal as the 3-layer method. And a lot of people use some different brushes. I've found that this D-shaped brush works pretty well. And you just flatten it, and you're just trying to barely get the train to move so it goes below the surface of the water, but doesn't pull down this back edge here where the plane surface is. And you just kind of go through like so and go about like that. Like I said, when it's done, you can see I use some advanced level water, but basically that's the end result. And it kind of flows with the terrain up and down, and so that's basically how I did it. And I know some people have asked about my shallow streams too, so I will quickly throw in a bonus here for you. And basically, like I said, this was kind of a prototype of hole 12 at Hoback. I like to do this sometimes, kind of do a prototype of what's in my mind, see if I can get the look I'm going for, and if I can, I kind of go for it. But to get these narrow streams, basically I've got the surface flattened or lowered to just above the water table level here. So to get one of these sneaky little streams, I'm going to take the fuzziest round circle brush. I am going to select that. I'm on flatten here. I'm going to make this as small as I can, and basically when the height meter is as close to the brush as it can, I'll do that. And then I went and flattened 1.5 feet, 1 foot 6 inches, and then it's just kind of drawing, just kind of weaving back and forth, kind of how a natural stream would kind of flow. Not perfect, just kind of through like that and through. And you can make a second pass through if you want, get a little wider, and just kind of make subtle adjustments on the fly. Make it a little wider if you want, make it a little deeper by following the same path. Yeah, that's basically how I did that. So anyway, that's just a couple of tricks that I used on Hoback Range Sports Club. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you guys can put it to use on some of your designs. Till next time, this is Mayday 91283. Thanks for watching.